Mr. Chief Justice.
Senator from Delaware.
Chief Justice, on behalf of our colleagues, Senators Booker, Cardin, Kaine, Markey, Menendez, Merkley, Murphy, and Shaheen, I send the question to the desk for our House managers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The question from Senator Carper and the other senators addressed to the House managers. The President's aides and defenders have claimed that it is normal or usual to use U.S. foreign assistance as the President did to achieve a desired outcome. How was the President's act in withholding U.S. security assistance to Ukraine different from how the U.S. uses foreign assistance to achieve foreign policy goals and national security objectives? And how should we evaluate the defense argument that this is what is, quote, done all the time, end quote?
Mr. Chief Justice, Senators, thank you for the question. So to understand the answer to this, you don't have to look inside the President's mind. You just have to look at recent history and then what was done last year. As I talked about earlier and even yesterday, other presidents have holds an aid for legitimate reasons, even this president. We concede that there are a variety of legitimate policy reasons for holding aid, whether it be corruption or burden sharing. So even in the president's other holds, like Afghanistan, because of concerns about terrorism, or Central America, because of immigration concerns. And even though some might disagree with that, that is a legitimate policy debate. The difference here is that every witness testified, these 17 witnesses that you hear about, testified that there was no reason provided for the implementation of this hold. Right, I talked about earlier how there is a process for doing this, right? There is a well-prescribed process for allocating the funds, like we all did here in this chamber, and 87 of you agreed on. And then an interagency process to review it to make sure that it meets the standards and criteria outlined by this body, anti-corruption reforms. And that was done in this case. That interagency process was followed. That certification was made. The notification to Congress was conducted. The train had left the station, just like the train had left the station in 2018, in 2017, in 2016. And every element of the agencies and the bureaucracy involved in that process in prior years had been engaged and had signed off. Except this year, or in 2019 rather, that all changed. A hold was implemented for no known reason. There was no notification given to Congress, which violated the Impoundment Control Act. DOD, Department of State, Secretary Esper, Secretary Pompeo, even Vice President Pence, and the entire National Security Council implored the President to release the aid because it not only had met all of the certifications, but it was in the U.S. national interest and consistent with U.S. policy. And yet, nobody knew why it happened. And to this day, the individual who could shed light on this, Mr. Bolton, is being prohibited from coming forward to explain why the President told him it happened. So yes, it is still a good time to subpoena Ambassador Bolton and get that information.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.